Hey, what's up everybody? Good morning. So with all the craze that's happening in Malaysia now for fully electric cars, and today I want to touch a bit about the Minis electric. We call it a Mini electric. Okay, so what's so good about this car? What do you need to know about the car? Are you the right buyer for this car? Okay, so let's touch a bit about that today, and I'm on the way to the office now, and catch you soon. So in the meantime, even though my car doesn't accelerate as fast as the Mini electric, but it definitely can go faster than 150 kilometers per hour. And I do not need to concern myself with the charging of my car. I can simply go to any petrol stations nearby and find RON 97 and I'm good. And how often do you get? Tell me which electric car gives you that sound and I give you 50 bucks. Alright guys, so what we have for today, this is the LCI2 F56 petrol version. See, the front grille is different. And what I have for today is LCI1 Mini electric, because we only have this one fellow here for all the dealers in Malaysia right now for any test drive appointments. And yeah, because we never got the chance to register the LCI2 yet for test drive purposes, so I will be comparing this one and this one. Okay, let's have a look at some of the notable differences of the LCI2. Later on we'll be seeing the LCI1 electric car. Okay, this is a new redesigned steering wheel. Not really much difference here. Napa leather here instead of the perforated leather with the red stitching, and slightly thicker around here. Okay, so much more comfortable to hold. New logo I think should be the same. Alright, so these buttons are new, so it's not exactly purely touch. You can still press it, but it's no longer the singular buttons like the previous steering wheel. Okay, now it's in a grey, light grey stitching. And bear in mind, for the electric car you won't have the pedal shifters, obviously. Slightly newer dashboard design. The electric one should be matte grey with some yellow accents here. Okay, my personal favorite, something new here, is this guy right here. So if you notice, it's all flat now. It's fully flat. Instead of that one, you still have the inner indentations here. And this is the latest iDrive. Very, very nice. The menu is much more cleaner, not as messy as before. Looks more premium. Okay, without further ado, this is the LCI1. FYI, the electric car against the petrol car, there's no big difference in the shell and the dimensions. Small changes here and there. This is slightly higher, the ground clearance there, that part there, but the center of gravity is lower, and the car is slightly longer, just by a bit. We are talking about differences, millimeter differences. To my surprise, there are still people who come into the showroom and ask, is the Mini electric fully electric? Yes. There's no engine, there's no spark plugs, no cylinders, pistons, petrol tank, nothing. It's basically you just take a car, remove the engine out and all the components involved with it, and replace it with an electric motor. What is at the front? Is it empty? No, you are not getting what Porsche is getting. You are not getting a frunk. So this is the electric motor that powers the entire car. As you can see, some orange colored wires there. FYI, orange is the universal agreed color for all car manufacturers, so that what differentiates an EV against a normal petrol wire. Okay, so just because you don't have an engine doesn't mean that you still don't have any maintenance of the car. You still have the windscreen washer, your suspensions left and right, your battery, your air, your coolant, and suspensions, brakes and all that. So you still need to come in for the annual service based on the interval. Once the warning time is up, then you should still make an appointment and get your Mini Electric serviced. Sneak peek of what's under there. I'm not going to pretend I understand everything here, but basically this whole frame here is housing the electric motor, and all this structure, right, is all very strong. It's meant to handle any impact upon accidents. Okay, so since there's no engine, what is here? Is this the petrol tank? Obviously no. So this is where you charge your cars. So as you can see here, there's two different covers. This is for the conventional charger by this guy right here. This is what we call a wall box, right? So this is the common charger, and this guy right here is where you plug out both, because there's another type of charger called DC charging, and it's huge. It's actually to plug in for both. Okay, I'll touch more on the details of the charging later. Every purchase of the Mini Electric, you will be given a complimentary house charging cable. Sorry, it's a bit messy. Okay, so this charger right here is a 3-pin meant to plug into your house socket, and the same connector head right here. So this guy takes up about 12.5 hours, close to 13 hours if you're charging from the 3-pin socket at your home. This is always meant to be as a backup only. If you have the extra time, 13 hours, yes, by all means go ahead. Whereas charging using this box, it takes you about 6.5 hours, so almost half of the time is cut. Okay, so here we are in the LCI1, the 2019 Mini Electric. So as you can see, first notable difference is the steering wheel. So please bear in mind, the latest 2022 cars, you will be following that green car example right there. Okay, so this has been changed, and you don't have the pedal shifters here. Very similar dashboard design, but this is still a different type, and the new one will be matte gray with some yellows here and there. So this is the old center console that I mentioned. You have a bit of lobang here, some holes here and there. As you saw earlier, I think the clean full flat screen one, that one looks much more premium. Okay, so let's start this Mini Electric. There you go. So this is also the older iDrive. Whenever you're driving the Mini Electric, for me, this is where I will focus my attention, because this is where I can know whether the car is already started and ready to drive or not, because you can't hear anything from engine or whatever, right? So this is where I look for me to know if I can drive the car out already. Gear indicator here, this is the battery capacity. So as you can see, it's 72%, and at 72%, based on the previous drive by the previous person who drove this car, maybe he drove quite hard and you can only go 83 kilometers based on 72%. But remember, as do all other cars, this estimated range of driving always changes. In the Mini Electric, there's a low energy recovery and high energy recovery, which is this button right here. So what this option does is, you know, when you're driving this car, you can actually drive single-footed, whereby you're pressing the accelerator, and the moment you lift up your feet, the car brakes by itself and uses that kinetic energy, the motion of the movement, to convert it into electrical energy and recharge your car. But of course, this is again just as a backup. The best power option is always to charge the car externally via the box and whatever cables that you have. For the Mini Electric, you will be getting the electronic handbrake instead of the traditional handbrake as can be found in the petrol variant, and you are getting Harman Kardon sound system speakers and the heads-up display with the information shown there. So these are the extras that you get in the Mini Electric compared to the normal petrol 3-door. Okay, so now let's talk about the prices of the car. So based on recent announcements from the government last year, you are looking at the new price now. So if you were to get this stock before the SST ends, that's 8,400 ringgit worth of exemption, you are going to be able to enjoy the price of 183,000. And if you are opting for the wall box and the installation fees, so everything in will be 188,000. This is the price before SST exemption. But despite some people saying, oh, is the Mini Electric a good car, is an electric car a suitable choice for now, let me share to you that we have sold out all our Mini Electric for this entire year. So yes, the reception of this car is actually very good. Okay, while some can say that the reason it's sold out is because of the price, because it used to be 228,000 and now the petrol variant is selling at 272. So about 40,000 difference there. But after the government exemption of the import tax for all EV cars, so now you're looking at the price of 191. So you see there's about 80,000 gap between the petrol variant and the EV variant of the 3-door. Due to this, Mini Malaysia is trying their best and requesting for more allocations from Mini UK for the Malaysian market, because as I mentioned a few years ago, probably my branch here sold only about 10-15 cars in a year, but it's only March and we have already sold about 25 cars. So you see the difference of reception for the Mini Electric. Is the Mini Electric the right car for you? Okay, number one, if you are looking for a small car, practical, to run around town, FYI, the Mini Electric's performance is rated at a very similar power as the 2.0 turbo petrol version. Okay, so it's rated at 184 horsepower, while the actual petrol car is rated at 192 horsepower. We're talking about small differences here. So power wise, the car is fine. So if you're looking for a small car to run around town in the Klang Valley area, where you have lots and lots of infrastructure available to charge the car, you have the DC charging stations at Shell, or you have Charge EV and various other third-party providers. So I believe this will be the right car for city use. Looking to use the Mini Electric for more long distance travel, it's not that you can't do it, you can, but what you need to do is you just need to add on a bit of time in your travel itinerary. So you need to know, okay, I'm going to Penang, where can I stop to charge the car, how long do I need to charge the car, and how much do I have to pay to charge the car. Because okay, if you're using the given home cable, of course that one is you don't have to pay for the cable, you just have to pay for your electricity charges. If you're using the wall box at your house, you also don't need to pay for anything, you just need to pay for your electrical charges, which if you use the wall box at home for a full charge, you're looking at around 14 ringgit, 14. Okay, there are, as I mentioned earlier, there are also several providers like Shell Recharge, I forgot the name, Shell Recharge, Charge EV, but those will require payments at the actual stations, right? Okay, so I was talking with some of my friends from Porsche and all that. So all the Porsche Taycan owners, they can also use the so-called Shell charging stations. If I'm not mistaken, they charge per duration. So if you're charging for, let's say, 20 minutes, but you're parked there for 40 minutes, so they will charge you for 40 minutes instead. And it's not really that cheap. I saw a photo of about 38 minutes. The customer was charged about 184 ringgit. So it's not really literally cheap. I think it's about 4 ringgit 80 cents per minute. But remember guys, okay, as I said, this is the current situation now. You can use the car to go out stations, yes, but for me personally, I would rather say that it's the best car for city use. And some can argue that, hey, why is the driving range of this Mini Electric is so short? All the other cars are having 460 km and blah blah blah. First of all, the Mini Electric is a mini, it's small. We can't put that many batteries inside the car. You can probably squeeze in more, but that has a lot of other factors to it. If you put too much power inside the car and against the weight of the car, then the power is overwhelming and you can't drive the car. It's going to be like so dangerous to drive. And all the other cars that people are comparing to are like, Teslas, iX4, all those cars are big. Okay, so similar to all those previous customers who came into the showroom, they are looking for the 3-door because again they want a small car, to use around town, blah blah blah, and you don't mind the electronically limited speed of 150. you don't mind that you have about 160 to 200 km of driving range within the full battery capacity, I guess this is the car for you, really, because it's such a fun car to drive, and there's not many options for a small EV car. Probably the nearest one in the price bracket is the Hyundai, the Ioniq 5, but that's not a small car at all. Literally, it's not a small car. You don't have Volkswagen E in Malaysia. You don't have okay, you do have Nissan Leaf, but come on, Mini is the nicest looking EV option right now, and I think a lot of us can agree that that's true. That's about it from me today, folks. I hope this somehow brief sharing is beneficial to you. And as I mentioned earlier, we have sold off all our stocks for the year. However, we are requesting for more stocks from UK, and we did get some updates from the management here that any new bookings that comes in now, you're probably gonna get the car roughly around October, which is still not that bad, because even if you don't have the SST exemption for this car, you're looking at a retail price of 191,000, and then you add on about 5,000 for the wall box and the installation fees. So that's still gonna give you about roughly about 200,000 bracket for a car. If you're looking at the 3-door petrol, that's 270,000. Okay, so you know where to find me, and hope this video helps you guys, and enjoy your weekend. Take care, folks. Bye bye.